What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Littleroot Laddering. Today, I am playing Micheal Zhang's 22nd place team from Portland. I'm not sure exactly where the paste came from. I found the original team, obviously, on Labmouse. We talked about it last week on the podcast. And I immediately sent the team to Carl and said, hey, how much effort would it be for you to reconstruct the EVs on this team? He's like, I don't know, it probably not that hard. And then the next day, Jay sent me the actual paste of the team, so I sent that to Carl, and he made up the rental for me, and here we are. So let's talk about what we are doing here today. So this team is wild, and I love it. So we have Rocky Helmet, Liquid Voice, Primarina trying to just fire off some big hyper voices and some moon blasts, but also keeping the rest of our team healthy thanks to Life Dew. Between Life Dew and Grassy's terrain from Rillaboom, our team has just a ton of incidental recovery, which I think is actually really awesome. Rillaboom is pretty standard, just Grassy Glide, Wood Hammer, Fake Out stuff. Notably, we are Miracle Seed instead of like Assault Vest, which is pretty standard on Rillaboom anymore. I think that's actually fine because I prefer the Assault Vest on Tyranitar to give it even more bulk. I believe Micheal Zhang won a regional with Tyranitar Como earlier this year in Regulation E. I could be completely mistaken. I know that team won something, and I believe it was in the hands of Micheal Zhang. So I'm pretty sure this is just like a upgrade to that team that they played in that tournament. Iron Defense, Body Press, Flash Cannon, Protect, pretty standard Como stuff. I really like trying to do Iron Defense, Body Press stuff as opposed to like Clangorous Soul stuff. Overcoat seems as a really useful ability here on Como. I think that you could also get away with like Bulletproof to try to be immune to like all the Moonblast ring around from Flutter Mains and stuff. But I do think that Iron Defense Body Press just is incidentally a lot of damage output. I've been doing something similar with like Archalulon, and I've done something similar with like Garganackle and Yu here lately as well. So just like trying to set up a single Iron Defense in front of a bunch of physical attackers that aren't named exactly Urshifu. Iron Defense is a really useful tool. And then being able to use those boosts from your defense and Body Press just means you have just a ton of potential damage output. Naturally, if we're trying to do setup things, we need some way of redirection or Fake Out Pressure, which we have on Rillaboom, but we also have redirection here on Magmar. Very exciting because Magmar here with Eviolite means that it is absurdly bulky, and with Helping Hand allows you to just like have a huge amount of pressure next to anything really on this team. To round out the team here, we have Latios holding that Soul Dew to give its Dragon and Psychic attacks a little bit of a boost. Luster Purge was hugely buffed this generation, going from 70 base power to 95, and still holding that 50% chance to drop special defense on our opponent's side. Latios is something that I'm very excited to play with, and something I actually have another team in the books with Latios that we'll probably see here in like a week or so. And to round out the team, we have Tyranitar holding that Assault Vest. It's going to try to do a ton of damage to a bunch of different things. So that is the team. I think this team is very unique. One of the coolest teams that I saw come out of Portland, and as soon as I saw it, I knew I wanted to play it. Let's go ahead and jump on ladder and see what we can do today. All right. Starting out, we got a Walking Wake Trick Room team here. I know Whimsicott has access to Sunny Day. I know it used to have access to Trick Room. I'm not sure if it still does. I'm assuming it does. But I know we have like Indeedee plus Blood Moon over there as well. So I think this is actually really interesting. I'm really not sure what kind of approach we want to take here. I think I think the idea of just getting like spread damage here in the lead is really interesting. Rillaboom also means that we can take away their psychic terrain. I don't think Magmar looks particularly good here, but I think this is like Primarina Tyranitar up front. Maybe with a little bit of like Rillaboom and... Do I want Como? Como doesn't look particularly great in front of Blood Moon or Wake or... Yeah, I think... Man... It's like, which which fairy weakness do I want to bring? Which dragon fairy weakness do I want to bring? And I really like the idea of Latios here. Just being able to like pressure them with Luster Purge seems really interesting. Not sure if it's exactly the right choice, but we'll try it out. Let's see what we can do here. Okay, it's going to be Walking Wake Whimsicott, so this is just going to be presumably Sunny Day plus attack, which is actually really bad for our Tyranitar because I really wanted that. I really wanted the sand up. But I'm just going to go for a Moonblast into the Walking Wake, swap out into Rillaboom here, be able to take their Sun away if need be. I'm assuming it's Sun, right? Like, you want to get the photosynthesis boost. It could also be Tailwind. Yep, it is going to be Sunny Day. Taking away our sand, putting up photosynthesis for Walking Wake. Going to be special attack boost. It's going to be a Hydro Steam into Rillaboom, and it still does a ton. Good lordy. Life Orb. That explains some. But yeah, Moonblast is just enough to one-hit the Walking Wake here, so... Sure, they set up Sun, but, like, at what cost, kinda, is the idea here? It could be Covert Cloak, they could be... Covert Cloak or Focus Sash on Whimsicott. I think just going for... like, Hyper Voice and going for a Fake Out into the Incineroar seems alright here. They could pivot out the Incin, but even then, I'm not really concerned about this Whimsicott. It is historically a Pokemon that has All My Friends Are Dead syndrome, so I'm gonna just kind of play into that and leave it be, let it do its thing. Is Primarina just gonna get a second KO here to start this match? Moonblast into Rillaboom, thanks to the crit, is going to be enough to take it out. Not really concerned about that. I think Rillaboom came in, did its job, and that's good enough for me. Hyper Voice here. Oh, yeah, I completely forgot Sun was up. Like, why did that do so little? But yeah, that tracks. Broke a potential Sash on the Incineroar here as well. I could bring out Tyranitar. That's going to bait them into most likely taking away my weather again. I could also bring out Latios, which would bait them into going for a Moonblast into that slot. At which point I can Luster Purge them. I can, like, Terra Luster Purge. And Primarina can go for, like, a Moonblast into the Whimsicott. Try to take it out this turn. Like, I'm not really concerned about this Incineroar currently. Like, I'm going to be faster than it. I think just trying to take out this Whimsicott is probably correct, because then I can set up my weather, and Tyranitar probably gets to do some mean things here to our opponent. So I think I'm pretty okay with Terrain here. They could go for, like, a Tailwind. They could just go for a Moonblast. Regardless, both of my Pokemon are going to be... Well, for sure Latios is going to be faster than Incineroar. Okay, that's really good damage, and we get the special defense drop. Didn't really matter. Moonblast isn't going to do a ton now that we are Terra Steel. They are going to get the special attack drop, which is annoying. Moonblast enough to take out the Whimsicott. And are we going to see like a parting shot here from the Incineroar? Just going to see a U-turn. Okay. So that tells me they are most likely a Salt Vest. And because they're now down 2-3, I'm actually able to bring out Tyranitar here pretty safely in front of the Incineroar, not have it like just pivot around and doing Intimidate cycling on it. So Incin is going to come back in. Fluttermane is going to come out. Photosynthesis is currently boosted for Fluttermane. Did we see an item on it? We have not. So I'm going to click Hyper Voice this turn. Actually, I think this turn I'm just going to... I think I'm going to Life Dew and Protect. I want to try to get Latios pretty safe here. Presuming this is Terra Fairy, like Dazzling Gleam coming out. And I don't think a double up into Primarina is going to be enough to take it out, so... Alright, there's the Moonblast into Primarina. Or we eat. We do get our Life Dew up. Really good recovery all the way around. It's going to be a Flare Blitz into Latios. Okay. So, Primarina cannot live another Moonblast. Kind of wish we still had Rillaboom. I think I'm going to Protect, and I'm going to swap into Tyranitar here. He's going to take away their sun. And he's going to wear off their Photosynthesis, which is actually going to trigger their booster. Okay. Good information to get here. They are not choice specs. And just go for a Shadow Ball, which we eat. That was a crit. Okay. And they're going to double into the T-Tar, which is not going to do a lot to it. And they're going to take a little bit of recoil here. And all this damage is negated by the grassy terrain. I would like to get a Hyper Voice off this turn. Notably, they can really only take out one of my Pokemon. Now let's do it. Let's just get double spread damage off here. Presumably this is going to be into Primarina. Okay. U-turn tells me that their Incineroar doesn't have Parting Shot. They have knockoff for my Assault Vest. Okay. Flutter Mane's down below half. Incin is actually within chip damage of Sand. So I can actually go for a Protect this turn with Latios to guarantee that I live. And then it doesn't really matter what Tyranitar does. It's getting knocked out here. So we'll just go for a Rock Slide. So Incin's going to go down to Sand so I can live a Flare Blitz. I mean, the Flare Blitz is negated. Moonblast is going to be enough to take out Tyranitar. So now it's a 1v1 against both of our Terramons, where they can hit me for neutral, but they're taking chip from the Sand. Alright. I don't even think at -1 I outspeed, so I think this is just Luster, Purge, and Pray. Oh, I outspeed! Oh! How did I outspeed their Flutter? They are a slow Flutter main. Oh, okay. I'll take it. Not gonna complain. I'll take a free KO. was really not expecting Latios to outlead a Flutter main today, but this is the world we live in, evidently. I'm assuming this is some type of rain team here with Tornadus, Archulodon, and Urshifu. Tyranitar here is really interesting because it's able to take away their weather, but I line up so poorly against their weather. So that's really interesting. Primarina looks fantastic. We line up well against everything not named Electroshot, which is why we have Magmar, I think. Magmar being able to like Terra Grass in front of Urshifu seems really interesting here as well. I think that Rillaboom is a must bring. I think Kommo-o is actually really interesting as well. I think I like Kommo-o more than I like something like Latios. I don't particularly love Tyranitar. I think this is going to be Kommo-o Rillaboom with Magmar Primarina in the back. If they want to go for weather things, I'm able to like Iron Defense up in front of them. Notably, I don't want to attack into like Archulodon until I can one-shot it with like a Body Press. And if they're like Terra Ghost, then obviously we're insanely sad. But I think that's the world we live in. Okay, it is going to be Archulodon and Tornadus. So they are most likely Covert Cloak or Mental Herb. I still think that is a good enough reason to go for a Fake Out. Because it feels like it's like 50-50 for this to work. I could just also immediately pivot out into Primarina here. Though I don't quite think that does enough for me. You know what? I actually like pivoting into Primarina this turn. Kommo-o looks really slick. I don't quite like the way it looks here. They're going to bring out Sinistcha. They're just going to Bleak Wind Storm. Which does 1,000,000,000% into Kommo-o. Good lordy. Okay, we crit. That kind of explains it, but I don't quite like how well that went for them. We're going to get Grassy Terrain. We're going to get Leftovers. I think we're just going to protect this turn. They can't set Rain here, which is really interesting. I could go for Terra Steel Primarina here to avoid like a Matcha Gotcha into that slot. I could also just pivot into Magmar here. Although I really need to start doing some chip damage into... I really need to do some damage into this Tornadus. So I think I'm just going to Terra and go for a Moonblast into it. Their pivot there on turn 1 is really interesting. Trying to preserve Archulodon is really interesting. So they go for another Bleak Wind. We do now resist it. Okay, there's the Bleak Wind. Miss, miss, miss. Never lucky. It's really good damage. Matcha Gotcha is going to come out. We do now resist this. And we avoid even better. Good job, Primarina. I'm going to clutch this turn. Alright, do I just sack Kommo-o here? I think I'm going to go for a Flash Cannon to the Sinistcha. Go for a Moonblast into Tornadus. Oh, that's a really good reason to just attack. Speed drop is not really all that important. Get the Flash Cannon off into Sinistcha, which does damage. Life Dew is a reason to have doubled the Tornadus. But I think Moonblast is still going to be enough to take it out. Oh, yeah. By a mile. We're fine. Okay. So, no weather for them. No tailwind for them. They did get a speed drop, which is interesting. And Komodo is going to be back above half, it looks like. Right at half. And we can still go for like a Life Dew this turn from Primarina just to get us a little more healing. They're going to bring out Ogerpon. They could Rage Powder here, but I'm actually immune to that. I'm also currently +2 with Komodo. I think I'm just going to... I like double protect this turn. Get a little more recovery. Figure out what they're going to do. They could be like an Ivy Cudgel into Primarina, which if it is, I can pivot into like Magmar this next turn. It's going to be a Strength Sap into Primarina as well. Alright, so Komodo is starting to look real healthy again. After taking a crit super effective Bleak Wind on turn 1, we're actually looking kind of healthy. So I am going to just pivot into Magmar here. Eviolite plus a resisted hit means we're going to take this really well. Shiny Magmar, I love it. Bonk. Bonk was not very effective here. And Body Press was. Good lordy. No burn? That move can burn, right? I'm not crazy for saying that. Alright, Grassy Terrain is gone now. Who is faster between Komodo and Magmar? Probably Komodo, right? No, Magmar is. Very interesting. I think I'm gonna Iron Defense this turn. And I'm gonna go for an Overheat into Sinistra. Okay, perfect. Now we get to see the power of Magmar. Magmar, that was beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for that. And now I'm +4. So their Ogerpon is just like not a threat to me. And because I have Magmar out here as well, I'm really just not threatened by them. I mean, I was really scared about how this game was going to play out, but here we are. And we will Body Press. And we're going to click Follow Me. If they follow me with Ogerpon, that's kind of whatever. They are going to Terra here. If this is Terra Ghost Ogerpon, Terra Ghost Archulodon, we're sad. It's Stellar. Okay. Do I outspeed that with Komodo? Okay, they go for a Spiky Shield, but that doesn't matter. Magmar's going to wiggle his finger and... like, hey, look at me. You should attack me. I'm going to drop a Draco. I wonder if we live this. Magmar is absurd. Good job, buddy. You can have your stamina boost. I think had they set Tailwind this game, or like, I don't know, attacking with Tornadus was really threatening, especially turn 1. The attack there was obviously very detrimental for us. But overall, this game went about as perfect as we could have asked for. Oh no, my Magmar! Yeah, this is a very good match. Another Sun team. I mean, I'm just assuming, with multiple fire types and multiple photosynthesis mons, it makes a lot of sense for them to be a Sun team. What did we learn last time we did this? Latios was really good. Tyranitar forced them to like Sunny Day on turn 1. Not really feeling too hot here. I think I like Rillaboom plus Latios with Primarina and Tyranitar in the back. I think this is very similar to what we did last time. I think Rillaboom could be Komodo, but with them having Flutter Mane there as well, I'm not completely in love with that. Plus, Rillaboom gives us a Spore switch in if they bring a Mungus, but I'm not anticipating them bringing a Mungus here. So let's see what they do. Okay, so it is most likely going to be... This could be Tailwind, this could be Sunny Day coming out. I think regardless, I want a Grassy Glide and Luster Purge the Flutter. I think just trying to take it out this turn is really good for us. And of course, I want to go for a Terra here because this baits them into attacking my Latios, and so by staying in and going for a defensive Terra here, we're actually putting ourselves in a pretty okay position. There's an argument to attack down the Whimsicott this turn, but again, it has All My Friends Are Dead syndrome. So if we just take out the Flutter Mane, then we're in a much better position. Notably, they don't protect. So Grassy Glide's just going to do 1,000,000,000%. And then Luster Purge is going to pick up the KO. So what's notable about this now is I can swap Rillaboom out and bring in Tyranitar to get rid of their weather and to give us a more incentivized weather for us. I could drop a Draco on Ensign this turn. I think just pivoting into Tyranitar and I think I want to attack this turn. Do I? I could just stay in and Grassy Glide the Whimsicott to break a Sash and then pivot next turn. Because I could see them Flare Blitzing Latios this turn, so I'm going to protect. Could be Fake Out, this could be Flare Blitz. Could be Tailwind coming up. Yep, it's completely fine. Grassy Glide to break the Sash. And if they want to Flare Blitz my Rillaboom, I'm fine with that as well. They do just go for the Flare Blitz into Latios. This could be a double swap. I don't think double swap is all that good for us. I do think preserving Rillaboom is good. Going into Tyranitar here. And dropping a Draco on... I think I'm just going to Luster Purge the Whimsicott. I think Latios is bulky enough that we're going to be able to live a um, live a Flare Blitz if Sun is not up. Oh, they have Encore. That's really bad for us. Okay. I mean, if I get the double, I don't. Unfort. They're going to Flare Blitz in my Tyranitar now. No burn. No burn. So they could Parting Shot now. We haven't seen enough from the Incend to see if they are AV or like Citrus. We know they're not Safety Goggles. They are going to be faster than us because of the Tailwind. I think I like to pivot to Pre-Marina here. Do I? I could just stay in and protect. I like pivot. I like pivoting here. They go for like a Flare Blitz into that. They shouldn't attack that slot this turn because of Protect. Protect is guaranteed to work this turn if I stayed in. They're going to Sunny Day again. That's completely fine. They're going to Parting Shot off that slot. Okay. Because they want to preserve the Ensign for Intimidate later. Meaning they're probably Citrus Berry on their Ensign as well. Getting a big crit here on the Whimsicott could be really good for us. Walking Wake comes out. And unfortunately at -1, I'm not going to be able to OHKO the Walking Wake, I don't think. Although, that is enough damage I might be able to. They go for a Hydro Steam into my Tyranitar. I am going to just pivot this out into Rillaboom. Get that resisted hit. We're going to go for the Hydro Blast, or the Moonblast into Walking Wake here. Hope for an OHKO. It's obviously not an OHKO because they've already taken damage, but if we can KO the Walking Wake this turn, I feel like we're in a really good position. They are going to Terra, most likely going to be Water. Be Fairy. It is Water. So maybe preserving the Rillaboom is actually better for us then, because then we can click Grassy Glide into it. They do go for the Flamethrower. That's a really nice play from them. Because regardless of what my pivot is, they are able to counter it. And by them not being weak to this now, they should be able to live the Moonblast. Especially when they drop my special attack. What are you doing? Alright, well, Grassy Terrain should be done this turn. Tailwind is over. Grassy Terrain is over. I can bring out Tyranitar here. I think I'm actually going to bring out Latios. I'm going to protect. I'm going to Moonblast the Walking Wake once again. I need to be able to take it out this turn, I think. And this is like my only line to do so, I think. By pivoting, by staying in, I bait them into Flamethrowing that slot. Had I brought in Tyranitar, they just said Sunny Day and then attack that slot anyway. So as long as I don't get another special attack drop here... Oh my gosh, why do I talk? Crit one time? Never lucky. Okay. What is my play? What is my play? What is my play? I can pivot Tyranitar and once again Moonblast the Walking Wake. We know they're Life Orb. If they protect there this turn, I don't know why they would. But if they protect and set Tailwind... Yeah, they do Tailwind. That's completely fine. I don't care about that. You naturally outspeed my team anyway. They do go for the Hydro Steam, but I'm also a Salt Vest, and I get the Sand Boost. So, yeah, I live this by a mile. And they should go down to their Life Orb, which then gives me a free Moonblast into Whimsicott. This is actually really good for us. Is that a Wi-Fi error on my end or my opponent's? I've never seen the double message, which makes me think it was on my end. Depending on how far back we get kicked out. I think we were playing that game exceptionally well. And I think we had enough pivots left that we could have won that game. Sacrificing Rillaboom in front of their Walking Wake was probably not great. I think sacking Latios is probably the better play, all things considered. Because if they do Terra the Walking Wake, which they did, we are actually able to pressure them with Grassy Glide. So I actually think preserving the Rillaboom is the better play there. Yeah, and we got the win. So what did we learn today? I think the big thing is that Magmar was awesome. Granted, we only brought it in one game, and there might have been an argument to bring it into the matchups with the Sun, the two Sun matchups that we played, ironically. But in reality, I don't think that with what the Sun teams are doing, I don't think Magmar lines up particularly great against them. We are able to like click Follow Me or whatever and take like a Hydro Steam from Walking Wake and then get KO'd, but I don't think that's enough for like to justify bringing Magmar in those matchups, right? What I did learn though, like Magmar was very good in the match we had it. It was able to help Como set up and like pressure our opponent that way. Primarina was very good as well. Granted, we played against two Sun teams, so like Hyper Voice wasn't able to do a ton, but Moonblast was, and like Life Dew also, like Life Dew with Leftovers and Grassy Surge, and like you have so much incidental recovery on this team, it is crazy. Primarina being able to like pressure your opponent with either of its stabs with Hyper Voice or Moonblast, or threaten recovery with Life Dew plus like Rocky Helmet Chip is a lot of angles that a lot of teams weren't really being able to pressure it. Latios was something else that was really good today. Luster Purge getting boosted is significant for this Mon, and something that I'm very excited to continue playing with. This is something this team is probably something that I'm going to like load up and play casually and like ladder with, because I think this team is very, very good. Huge shout outs to Micheal Zhang for obviously his 22nd place finish with the team. Huge shout outs to Jay for finding the paste and for Carl for putting it together for me. And if you want to pick up the team while it's available, go ahead and type in that rental code up top on your game. Have a good one. Peace.